Okay, we said we'd get to it. Let's move on to the Michigan State football coaching search. Of course, we'll take your open line calls at 248-539-9797. Ticket text 97136, or you can tweet us at DunGator971. So WILX TV in Lansing last night reported that they haven't reached out to anyone yet for their head coaching position. They've only begun to talk about the process. The report from their website said Michigan State officials have not yet interviewed anybody. I'm sorry, this is from the Detroit News now. Michigan State officials have not yet interviewed anybody to become the next football coach and are still putting together a list of candidates, a high-ranking university source told the Detroit News. Tim Stout, longtime Lansing, he was a sports anchor on ILX and did a radio show.
I've been there forever.
It tweeted
late
out,
70s, I think.
I won't bet against Shermer or Tressel at this point, and insiders doubt this goes past the end of next week. Shermer would be popular with MSU staff people. Tressel has time and continuity on his side. Stay tuned. Jim Comparoni of Spartan Magazine is dialed in as everybody,
Yes.
and he was reporting that the thing got pretty damn advanced with Fickle. Where do you stand with where you think this thing is right now?
Well, I trust Comp. I don't trust Tim Stout. Tim Stout hasn't been right about a whole lot of things at Michigan State over the years recently, so I totally dismiss what he's going to say. I'll trust on what Comp has to say. What his sources are telling him at SpartanMag.com is that Luke Fickell's the guy that they want. They haven't interviewed anybody yet. I don't think that's any big secret. They've identified who they want. According to Comp, they've got contracts ready to go for multiple candidates once they start the interview process so they can get this going quickly. But they haven't interviewed anybody as of last night. Has that changed today? Maybe that's changed today. But as we take a step back and let this breathe as we should, I think I'm upset with myself a little bit because you get emotional, you get excited about things and you want the change to happen right away, and you lose sight of the fact that it should be a process. With everything that's gone wrong at Michigan State over the last several years, with not following the right processes, they should follow a process when it comes to hiring a head coach. And that means you should go through an interview process, go ahead and vet a bunch of different candidates, and then make a decision quickly once that's done. It doesn't mean you can't have a number one guy, and I think that's exactly what's happened. I think they've identified who the number one guy is, and it's Luke Fickell because he gets the blessing of Mark Dantonio, gets the blessing of Tom Izzo, gets the blessing of other higher-ups in the administration like Alan Haller, and a lot of the board members of the Board of Trustees. But none of that's nobody's going to approve anything until it gets to the Board of Trustees. And they need to know that there's been a proper process that goes through. You can't just have one guy. It's like with the Lions when they did that with Steve Mariucci. All right, may have seemed like the perfect candidate at the time. In the end, it wasn't. And they really should have gone through a process, much like everybody should go through a process. So there are other names out there that they will presumably interview. And I don't think that it would come as any surprise to Luke Fickell or anybody else that, oh, by the way, this is how it works. I think they all know how this works. And we've talked about it a lot. When you have a search group or whatever, when you hire an outside group to start your search for a new coach, they're the ones that reach out to the agents of coaches to gauge an interest initially. That's how it works, so that the university doesn't say, we haven't interviewed anybody. You're right, they haven't. Doesn't mean the search group hasn't gone out and contacted representatives, which I think they have. So this is going to play itself out over the weekend. And the report we had earlier in the week said it probably won't happen until next Friday. Probably accurate.
Okay, so just to be clear here, because you thought it would happen Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday.
Because things are happening really quickly, and I was emotional about it. And like I said, taking a step back, smack myself on the head, you think, there has to be a process for this. And then
we can do that for you.
Well, I just did it, but if you like, give it your best shot. But Brian Masalam, who's a member of the Board of Trustees and apparently wants to be the spokesperson of the Board of Trustees, he had a tweet that he sent out where he says, my apologies for not responding and addressing every rumor and question about our Michigan State University football coaching search. Everyone's working extremely hard, and I'm confident we're going to find an outstanding leader with high morals and integrity and Spartan Nation can get behind. Go Green. Says, I have a great amount of respect for the media, and I've always tried to assist as best I can. I've received numerous messages regarding our football coaching search and have not responded out of respect of the process. The search committee will be interviewing and evaluating all potential candidates. From there, they will bring a recommendation forward to the Board of Trustees and discussion and final approval. So I'm guessing the interviews are going to take place. If they haven't taken place starting already today, that's going to be real soon. But I would imagine they've already started this process starting today. So it'll happen quick enough, and I still think Luke Fickell is going to be the guy, and I think he'd be a great choice.
But not only do you and a lot of Spartan fans, think he'll be the guy. That's all a lot of Spartan fans have wanted, you included. That's all you guys have been talking about is Luke Fickell. Luke Fickell. It should happen soon. This is going to be the guy, and now is it like opening the door for somebody else for you, or is it?
No, that's my guy. I like him. I think he'd be a perfect transition from Dantonio. I think there are a bunch of reasons why I like him. I think first and foremost, I think he's a heck of a coach. All the ties and everything else to the Midwest, and his pedigree coming up through Ohio State, and a friendship that he's got with Dantonio, and a relationship he has with the Dantonios. I think all that's good. The healthy hatred for the University of Michigan, that checks a box. There's a lot to like about Luke Fickell with Michigan State. Are there other candidates that I like? Sure, but maybe not as much as I like Luke Fickell.
Yeah, because as recently as yesterday, it seemed like it was Fickell or bust for you. And that's a lot of Spartan fans out there. And then there was, now all of a sudden open up the process.
I'll tell you who I'm intrigued by. I want Fickell, but I'm intrigued by Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator at San Francisco. I'm intrigued by that. No head coaching experience, but because he's got the connection with Michigan State and he's a local guy, it's intriguing because he's done such a great job with San Francisco, and it'd be interesting to see if that translates. I'm skeptical that would ever happen because I think he's destined to be a head coach in the NFL. But boy, would that be great if you could land that guy if he's destined to be a head coach in the NFL, then why not at a university? Pat Shurmur is one that intrigues me. He has not been successful as a head coach at the NFL level, but boy, does he know offense. He's always got a job as an offensive coordinator somewhere, and the college game is significantly different than a professional game. So that's another name I'm intrigued by. And then another name that was brought up was Mel Tucker, who's the coach at Colorado right now, who was a grad assistant at Michigan State, had coached with Nick Saban at LSU and also at Alabama, and been defensive coordinators all over the place, and he's got a pretty good resume, but he's only gone through 1 year at Colorado. I mean, I'm intrigued by it, but Fickell's my number one.
So just to be clear, though, you stated this process has started long ago between, Dantonio and Beekman, and it's going to wrap up with Fickell anytime soon, but now the process will continue? I thought they've been working on Fickell, for a while.
I think the search committee, I think that Dantonio behind the scenes has been pushing the agenda of Luke Fickell. That's my own personal opinion. I think that's what's it has been happening for a while now. And Michigan State has to do a search because it would look stupid if they didn't. It would look like this thing was just rushed through. This creates the process that will check all the boxes for the people that want it checked off. Plus, you also understand that you have a board of trustees that has to approve of all this. And if everybody isn't on board from the get-go, this allows the time to do that interview process and satisfy all those needs of looking at the other candidates.
I got the sense early that if it happened quick, one of the benefits of it happening quick, and you had me convinced that this thing was going to happen quickly, was that call up Fickell, get it done, and no chance for Cincinnati to counter. Now, if the thing about Cincinnati countering is whether or not they match whatever Michigan State is going to pay him, which Cincinnati, it's probably just delaying the inevitable that they're going to lose Luke Fickell eventually. But because if you're Fickell, you have to think, okay, right now I'm a hot commodity. This is a Power 5 job that doubles my pay. Seems like you jump at it. If you decide not to, it's because you think, I don't want that job for whatever reason. Maybe you don't want to be in the Big Ten East. Maybe you're worried about anything that comes out of the Blackwell case.
Maybe you just love Cincinnati.
Right. Maybe I have my eye on USC, or maybe I have my eye on Notre Dame or Ohio State, and I'm holding out for that job, or I'm holding out for whatever reason. The risk he runs by staying is he goes back. Cincinnati, who should be pretty good next year, doesn't live up to expectations, and suddenly he loses momentum and doesn't have as hot a name a year from now. That's one of the risks if he goes back. If there's a delay here, you can rest assured that Cincinnati's going to come back and try and lock him up at a higher pay. Will they make it high enough that he says, yeah, I'm staying, is the question.
Well, I doubt Cincinnati is going to double up the salary. And I doubt Cincinnati is going to double up what they pay their assistants, which apparently I think they paid their assistants a total of like $2.5 million last year. Michigan State was north of $4 million and closer to $5 million. They paid Fickle last year $2 million. Michigan State, according to the rumors, is that the offers would be closer to $5 million per season.
Why do you doubt it?
What do I doubt? What?
Why do you doubt that Cincinnati would do that?
Because I don't think that's they're not a Power 5 conference. They don't have the money at their disposal. I read reports that the athletic department has been operating at a loss, a significant loss for several years here. So I don't think Cincinnati is a stepping stone job. Michigan State is a destination job. That's why. I guess
the only thing I'd say is Group of 5 schools have started to break that threshold and pay their coaches more. But whether or not Cincinnati can is a whole other situation. Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier in the week, UCF paid Charlie Strong $5 million a year. Houston went and got Dana Holgerson, and he's close to $4 million a year. So if they don't have the money, they don't have the money. But the question is, do they have enough money to make him say, yeah, I'll hold out and wait for another job? Because you got to figure, if you're talking about doubling a guy's salary, you're talking about a guy going from, if I stay here, I'll earn in 1 year at Michigan State what it would take me 2 to earn at Cincinnati.
Well, or more. If they offer him $5 million a year, that's $3 million more, which is more than double. It's 2.5 times.
I imagine Cincinnati won't ask him to come back at the same price. They're going to offer him some kind of raise. It's just a matter of how.
Yeah, Cincinnati can't match the offer Michigan State would offer, and if they do, would Michigan State increase the offer? Sure.
248-539-9797. So Michigan State would go way above and beyond what they were paying Dantonio, you think?
I think at $5 million a year, I don't think that Cincinnati is going to compete. So, yeah.
All right, 248-539-9797. I think he's got a lot to mull over. And I think he has to decide, is some of the things that would have me hesitating to take that job, is it worth risking staying? I think it's a tough decision for him. Is it worth me risking staying to try and find a job that I would deem a better job, or do I want to walk out on what is a really, really good situation if I can get a raise? Because he's got a great recruiting class coming in. He's got a lot of guys coming back. It may be too far down the road for him to say, I want to leave now. You know, there's the occasion, the rare occasion where coaches leave like this. You think of Stoops at Oklahoma, who retired in the middle of the summer, but they had the guy in place. Can you get a coach to leave a program at this time of year is the challenge. I think it's a challenge.
A challenge for Michigan State?
For anybody, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think the other thing that Michigan State has going in their favor with Luke Fickell is that Luke Fickell is a very close relationship with Mark Dantonio. And if you believe that Mark Dantonio is a man of integrity and the guy is a straight shooter and he's going to give his friend the straight story on what's going on in Michigan State, and okay, then I think it should still work out.
248